Greetings, bloggers, vloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty with you again this week on this week's first half of the vlogs. I'd like to welcome you all back again. It's been a busy week, a very challenging week at best, but we're ready. It's another weekend, and we're going to try to make the best of it. And by the time you see us on my e-blast, hopefully it'll be a better week. It's been a week, but Monday it was a day for self-care, and there was a vlog about that last Thursday about that, and this will be this Thursday. I'm sorry, and the importance of having a self-care day. But we must also realize that along with having a self-care day, self-care is all the time, and it is not selfish to take time to care for yourself, care for your mental health, and take care of yourself. Also, for autistic people, it's very important because self-care is very important for you because many times we have to artistically mask, and having to go through the motions of life with being very well, acting as a neurotypical and not being able to be our true autistic selves in a world that just isn't built for us. It's not built for us in a way that we can cope through life and have challenges. This past week was one of those weeks where it was, and it was after I knew that last Monday, prior to having that day where I knew the overload and oversensitivity, and there would be a few days of that would be occurring, that I needed that self-care day. And a self-care day for me personally, and it can vary for many, but a self-care day that is true and honest is a day when you don't go to Zoom meetings, you don't fulfill any commitments, you stay away from things that trigger your need to be involved in things that, frankly, you just need time for you. You need time to relax. You need time to enjoy things. Time to just take time for you. That's basically what it is, and not focus on things that are worrisome, bothersome, or any kind of way triggering in a way that affects your mental health in a negative way, or your autism, in a way that it's very debilitating. Taking time for you is not selfish, and it took me a very long time to learn that. And when I took my first attempt at this over 2 years ago, that's when things started to have issues with my personal journey of independence that eventually led to a demise in it and a restart now. So finally, I'm in a good spot. I'm well. So I'm realizing that I need to take these days more for self-care. And part of that is because I am experiencing a great deal of burnout from just dynamics and factors that are causing burnout. And as such, I'm realizing I need to take time for myself. And I'm slowly beginning to accept that taking time for myself is not selfish. It's not, I don't have to be attached to things that I've been attached to for in some cases, most of my adult life. And it's some of the things that all I've known. So, learning that I don't have to be attached to things that that brew negativity or reek of negativity, or things that drive my energy in a very vile way, do not have to be a part of that. And as part of that, as you see in my background image, this was of a location along the rail trail that I do frequent, and it is part of a larger rail trail network. It goes from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Cumberland, Maryland, and then you can connect another trail to Washington, D.C. So in essence, you can travel 335 miles. That's a little factoid for you today. But as such, I knew this area was always here along the trail. And the opportunity came upon itself for us to go near that area, pretty close, within a mile. And we did. We went there, and we walked that mile to there. And I knew it was there, and I knew I had to take the time just to enjoy nature, enjoy being one with nature. And, that's for everybody's personal well-being or personal well journey. but being one with nature was very important to me because it just shows that I need that space and I need that time to be away from everything. And one of the ironic things was there was no cell phone coverage in this area because it's basically down in a little um, valley and away from all the cell phone towers on. And it's a small town, but it was near a small town, but it was just that there was just no cell service. So the distractions that arise when you don't when you're away from your home or away from your home base seem to disappear when that happens. I think a lot with COVID has taught us that we often we often keep our task if they're accessible at home, and we don't want to vie away from them or get away from them. And as such, you have to set those boundaries, just to protect your well-being. And I have begun to do that, and it seems to help. But there's always that one chance you want to get away from, you want to work on things, and it can be difficult. It really can be. And it's just you have to set those boundaries to stay away from things that are very detrimental to your mental health. Um, Speaking of mental health, it's been a good week. It's been a very challenging week. It's a lot of overload, a lot of things that are derive negative energy. But one of those, well, I shouldn't say it's negative. It's not totally negative, and it's been improving. Is that I've had the opportunity this week to spend some time with my parents, and I love my parents very much. They're great supporters in my journey. They are they're awesome supporters. They've been there for me through thick and thin, and I wouldn't want to have any other parents other than the parents I have, because although they're challenging behavior sometimes, or they're challenging dynamic, I should say, um, sometimes at one point would have made me continue to react in the way that I would have. Um, you know, I could have been a lot of other places, and I think sometimes you see that a lot. You see, the things that you see, and I think I have, sometimes you have to have an epiphany and realize, how lucky you are when when you have that time with family, not only for them, but only for the sake that, myself, I had to break away from that independence. I had to cut the cord of independence. And we'll get into that in the second half of this vlog this week. But with that being said, my day off a few days ago, I had my weekly therapy session. I went and did some grocery shopping, and I went to two stores. And after each store, I had brought the items to my house and unloaded them, and then and then after that, I went to their house to help them, and that was part of the plan for the day to uh, to assist them in helping with some things that they needed my expertise for. In the course of that happening, um, we had a little. Well, my family has horses, and there was a little mishap with the horses. So immediately you have to go, and when you have horses, you have to think of their safety and well-being before anybody else's. And as such, I meant I had to invest my energy into masking my behavior so that I could be on top of my game to help them and be an aid for them at a and not react to their somewhat negative behavior or challenging behavior, the behavior that I would once find challenging, that I can still find challenging in a way, but not as intense as I did when I lived with them years ago. And having that opportunity, to see that and be reminded of what it could be was a very much of an eye opener. In a world that it was very it would just open up some eyes. But we did get the horses to safety. I luckily didn't have to stay around to clean up the messes, but we did our task. And at that point, we had headed back into town here, and my mother wanted me to go with her to a store a distance away, and I decided not to go. And because I knew I had been burnt out, I had been away from my home for several hours, and of those hours, there was very many intense activities, instances, and such that happened that I knew I needed that time. I needed some time to unwind personally and for myself. So I had to say it. So I told her I did not want to go. And I felt bad that I had to return to home and relax, but I knew it was much needed because if I had went with her and continued that journey down the road with her and went with her to where she wanted to go and was interested in, and I was not, it would have been a very volatile situation and could have possibly ended up in a meltdown. So I'm recognizing, more and more as time goes on, and I'm in this journey of self-discovery that, I am realizing when I had enough and when I need to rest. And, sometimes, burnout is just so real, but, and it happens. And I think COVID has taught a lot of people that burnout is possible and is real. And demands are higher than what they used to be, and precautions are higher, and just so much has been added to the palette of the everyday person. But when you combine that with having autism, it just compounds the issue more. And having the having to take care of yourself is very important so that you do not relapse. I do not want to experience another relapse or meltdown. So I know I have to take care of myself, and that's how I do it. I have to take time for self-care. And as such, I'm learning that I at the present moment, with the dynamic that I have to deal with, I'm realizing that I have to take care of myself more because I do not want to relapse or go into a meltdown, where I am struggling with things more and more, and it could possibly lose opportunities from my reacting. So, it's all in how you see it. But for what I can see, I realize that I need to take time for me, and that it's not selfish. It's just I need time to unwind and be a part of so I can be a part of the world, and the part where people enjoy having me as a part of life. So, with that being said, I want to thank you for listening to this vlog. It was sort of a rant, but it was sort of stuff that you need to do and take care of yourself. Um, as such, you can be sure to give a like if you will. Be sure to tap a notification bell if you want to hear more of my vlogs being released. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I also have my other channel, Mr. D's Wellness Journey. It's going to be a second video this week, so be sure if you haven't subscribed to it to do so. Also, be sure to there was also a channel called Mr. Dustin's Dynasty TikToks, and I'm going to be on TikTok more. I'm going to try to make that more of a priority. So that is at Dustin's Dynasty ASD. That, and I'm going to be working on Pinterest as well this week. So and I have been working on it. So just keep those things in mind. Also, I am on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as always at Dustin's Dynasty. Um, I'm on the web. I always write my blogs every week, and they are also podcast, but it's on the web at dustinsdynastyusa.com. The podcast, and which includes this video being transcoded into one, is also on many platforms, including Spotify, where specifically Spotify is where this video will be seen. So I want to thank you again for listening, and have an awesome day, everyone.